Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome to next episode of Giving is Living with Helping Hand for Relief and Development. My name is Shabnam Hussain. I'm part of the accounting team here with my boss, actually, Farooq Haque. Thank you for joining. How are you today?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing well.
Good to hear. So you want to tell me more about yourself and your position here at Helping Hand?
Besides just being your boss?
Yes.
So, alhamdulillah, I've had the pleasure to work with Helping Hand for over 12 years now. I'm the chief financial officer. I'm a CPA, and I work in the accounting department, overseeing the financial operations for USA and for global.
Okay. And can you tell me a fun fact about yourself?
I never wanted to be an accountant.
Wow.
Yeah, there's that.
I guess what made you choose accounting?
My mom, growing up, I wasn't too sure about what I wanted to do. Like most people in college, I wanted to pursue history, physical therapy. I was all over the place.
Nice.
But my mother pushed me to, whatever I do, just go full force and, just achieve the best that you can achieve in whatever you do. So I ended up getting my bachelor's in accounting. Then I went and got my master's in taxation and then my CPA.
That's awesome. Knowing that you like numbers now. So, so what are some hobbies you have?
Hobbies. Yeah. I love to cook, read.
Okay.
Love to read and mountain bike.
Nice. What's your favorite dish? Gotta ask that.
My favorite dish. That's a tough one. It depends. I mean, I don't like biryani.
Wow. Okay.
So
okay.
those are fighting words for most people.
Yes.
But mostly Italian food, really.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
I love making pizzas.
Okay, let's see. So how did you end up here at Helping Hand?
So I was graduating college back in 2009.
Okay.
Market was a bust. I mean, recession had just hit. Wasn't a good time to graduate with any degree in 2009, really. So it was really hard to get a job, but alhamdulillah, I think it was just meant to be. It was perfect timing. A friend of a friend was leaving his position as an accountant here at Helping Hand.
Wow.
And so I got connected to him through my friend.
That's nice, mashallah. Yeah. So what are some different roles you had here at Helping Hand?
Oh, yeah. So at Helping Hand, especially back then, you would wear multiple hats. I mean, it was a small organization. So, I mean, you were anywhere from the janitor to the accountant. I mean, really, it was just trying to fix up a broken building, or we were doing all sorts of things. I mean, we drove trucks. I drove trucks to New Jersey for in-kind operations for the Pakistan flood relief back in 2010, 2011. Okay. I mean, I was doing HR stuff with Sister Nuzhat. Just wore a lot of different hats.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the CFO position kind of opened up in 2012, 2013. Okay. So then I jumped into that.
And then this is the new office, right? So at the old office, I'm sure like you said, there was multiple roles. How do we serve our beneficiaries now?
I think, one of our main responsibilities, especially with accounting, our goal is to make sure that justice is served. We are entrusted by donors with a lot of money, a lot of wealth that people are willingly giving to help beneficiaries overseas. Our duty as accountants is to make sure that, number one, we fulfill that amana, what we've been entrusted with, and to deliver it in the best way, in the most effective way, most efficient way to our beneficiaries.
Okay. So what are some common questions you get from donors?
The most common question is, what is our overhead rate? Those types of things. Nowadays, donors are becoming a little more interested in the work, and they have a lot more detailed questions. So we have donors asking us about our zakat policy. We have donors asking us about, timelines on even just how we distribute our funding.
Right. So I think a common question I also get is part of our admin fee. I think donors are more conscious about that. How is our money, distributed? So can you give us like a little background of how much percent wise and our beneficiaries actually get?
Yeah. So it's a bit of a loaded question when someone asks you, what is your overhead rate? And most people don't realize it, but donors will ask us how much of my money will go towards the beneficiary.
Right.
And that in itself is a very loaded question, because it's not that we're just delivering cash to someone overseas to help them. We actually are more involved in the process. We are there to make sure that funds are used properly.
Right.
We're giving out services to our beneficiaries. Our team is involved to make sure, like orphan care, for example, psychosocial support. Our team is involved to make sure that orphans have a mentor, they grow up properly. So it's not just that we're delivering cash to change someone's lives. We're actually trying to be involved in the life of the beneficiary.
Right, which goes off as like, why do we charge admin fees? I think people don't understand that, even transferring money as the head office here, we need to be able to do the work from here, and everything has a fee these days, right? So whether we collect the donations and then send them over, there's a credit card fee, there's a service fee. So as workers here of this organization, we do need someone to track all the money. So I think it's evenly distributed. So when you look at
good answer to your own question.
So when you look at the FAQs, is there anything you want to clarify further?
I think it's that I'd like to be more involved, with our major donors. We started this as, I guess, a pilot project, but we wanted to be more involved and educate donors in a way about our programs, as well as our financial spending and our budgets and our plans. So I think it's important. We want to be as transparent as possible. So in order to be transparent, we also need to educate donors, because most people don't understand what the finances mean, what our audit report numbers actually mean.
Right.
So I'd love to be able to spend more time with donors to show them that.
I think another thing positive that we're very transparent with our money and how, it transfers. So you see, like you said, our audit reports, everything's online on our website. So going off of that, what made you choose Helping Hand, or the position you are in now?
It's a great question. Kind of a tricky question for me, because I kind of grew up in the position, really. Helping Hand has been like family to me. I came out of here from college, and I was able to develop myself professionally, pursue my education, have a family, all types of things, all while at Helping Hand. So I really don't see it as work. It's just being part of a family.
Okay. And you mentioned how many years you've been here now?
13 years.
So what would you say, I guess, is the biggest change you've seen, or growth-wise have you seen? What have you noticed over time? In terms of like our programs, or just in beneficiary wise, the impact it made?
I think one of the biggest things with us is we've grown into more than a few countries. When I first started here, it was primarily focused on Pakistan,
right.
And then we developed in Africa and Jordan. But really, I think what's more important than just expanding is that we are working on improving the programs that we have. We've had this footprint, we've had this model on how we do things, through education and rehab and rehabilitation. But we are trying to improve those programs further.
Okay. So going off of that, I'd say what would you see in the next 5 to 10 years time frame?
I'd love to see our education programs growing in different ways. I'd like to see more impact for every beneficiary that we are serving. And, to expand on that, like education, our skill development program, I think that can go even further. We can improve not only the lives of our beneficiaries, but actually make an impact on the economy of the places that we serve, by empowering people with technical education or IT infrastructure, things like that.
That's nice, mashallah. So what is the biggest thing you learned about Helping Hand during your time here so far?
I guess the biggest thing, and honestly, I think I'm still learning this, is that there's so much to the work. It's not just about transferring funds from one place to another. There really is a sense of camaraderie and sense of commitment that, all of our team, every layer of the team has to feel and be empowered with. So there's a lot to this work that we do.
So based off that, what are some improvements you think we need?
Definitely, I think we can improve on with our programs. There's a lot that we can do, which I've already talked about. But I think internally, I think we can work on empowering our employees further. Okay. Giving them more work, more responsibility, but also educating them and training them to be leaders of their organization rather than followers.
Definitely. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So how would you say HHRD compares to other nonprofits? There's so much out there, so many competition. What stands out the most from...
Besides being the best? No, alhamdulillah, I think, we're a growing organization. We have a lot to learn. To be very honest, we're learning and we're striving, and we are always dedicating on how we can improve.
Right, definitely.
Our CEO, alhamdulillah, he's very approachable. We're able to, just focus on things and improve, and we're always looking forward. So I appreciate that at Helping Hand.
So how would you say, if you could describe HHRD in one word, what would you choose?
Dedicated.
Nice.
Committed.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
What countries are you looking to expand in for the future?
Honestly, I would rather not expand into new countries, but focus on the countries that we are already in. I think it's very easy to, look for new work and expand outward in that way geographically.
Okay.
But I think we can do more with the beneficiaries that we already serve. I'd like to, we focus on this. One of the most valuable parts of our model is that we have a holistic approach, right? Like we come in off of an emergency, we kind of rehabilitate and build back the infrastructure of that community. But then we also want to take it further and educate people, help orphans go further, water projects, all the way up to skill development, where we're doing technical training. I'd love to expand off of that same model that we have.
So my understanding is that we have, I guess what you're trying to say is we have certain programs in certain countries. Do you want to expand more programs within the same country?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
So if some countries only have, let's say, just Water for Life program or Orphan, we want to add skills development.
Correct, yeah.
And, our other programs. So that makes sense.
And in specific countries, we do some things better than we do other things. Right. So it'd be nice to improve on those areas that could use more attention.
And there's limitations as well with the other nonprofits we work in countries. So I guess it, depends on their ability to take on more programs with us and partnering and everything. So, so are there any new programs that you think we'd add in the future, or?
I think with our skill development program, I want to actually improve that one further.
Okay.
Right now we work on sewing and we do have some computer science, but honestly, I think if we had the right infrastructure in place, I think we could make that program go further. So I'd love to see that.
Nice. So going off of that, I guess, what is your favorite program? And you cannot say, because I'm the accounting. Accounting doesn't count. What is your other favorite program?
What's my other favorite program? Oh, man. I mean, orphan sponsorship is always close, real close to the heart. I mean, that's our flagship program. Most of our donors find it. You know, a lot of our donors hear about us because of that program, and it gets kind of opens up the doorway for Helping Hand. So
right. So can you tell me more about your experience traveling and working with Helping Hand firsthand?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times being the CFO or working in accounting, you know, for 13 years, you just kind of get stuck in a routine. Right. You know, just in front of a computer, crunching numbers, quote unquote, as people say. But it's really an opportunity when you get to go overseas and connect to the work that we're doing. You know, it puts a name to the face, kind of like you're not just sitting here crunching numbers. It adds value to the work that we do here. Right. You know, so like when I went to Pakistan, my first visit to Pakistan, we went out in some rural parts of Pakistan into the mountains. And at that time, we were doing the microfinance program, which we no longer have that program. But, you know, we got to go and meet the farmers that we were helping through this program. And I really got to see the impact of that work. You know, we were basically giving them seeds for them to grow. They would come down into the valley into the summertime, or in the winter times. And in the summer times, they would take the seeds, go up back into their homes, and they would grow their plants for their farming, and then sell them back in the village. Wow. But what was interesting at that meeting, we saw basically one of the seed vendors, and he came and he was so upset, and they were speaking in some language I didn't understand, but he was basically upset because we were undermining the scheme that he had set up. What this person was doing was he was actually putting these farmers into a very difficult position. He would sell them seeds, but he'd say, "You don't owe me any money now, but when you harvest your crops, you have to give me 50%." Oh, wow. And then he would keep basically taking and taking and taking from these farmers, and it was just like a modern form of slavery. So to see the impact that just giving seeds to these farmers, what it had, like the economic meaning that it had, you know, the livelihood that their families were benefiting from, you know, just even the economic impact, you know, fighting corruption, all sorts of things we were doing just from, you know, this one program.
That's a lot really, of trust too. I mean, you'd have to really trust the person to pay you back, you know. If they don't, then it's kind of your loss. Yeah, so, for sure. So can you tell me if there was another country you visited or? Yeah.
We went out with Jamal, the man behind this camera right now. Him and we went to Jordan and Africa recently. He got to travel a lot more than I did. I was kind of stuck in the office, but I did go into the field with him in Jordan. And, you know, you get to see, we went for a caravans for Hope. The mobile home program that we have, the micro home program that we have in outskirts of Jordan. So we got to see the impact that program had. And, you know, we were unveiling or basically giving the home to a new family that day. And man, just to experience that with them, to share that moment, it's really powerful. You know, like you see, you know, the mother is in tears. The kids are they're running around this little, you know, less than 500 square foot home. You know, like if you see kids here, you know, when they get a new home, they'll run upstairs, downstairs, in the basement, and they're like, "Oh, this is my house. This is my room." Yeah, they'll start, you know, drawing on the walls or something. But, you know, they have so much space to work with. But I saw these 3 kids go into this house, and it was like a mansion to them, you know, coming from, who knows what they're coming from, what kind of poverty they've had to deal with their whole lives. And,
Especially the weather, I'm sure, like,
Yeah.
harsh winters and summers.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
So just to see the smile on their faces, it's just
Right. That's different. As I was speaking with Sister Amika on the last podcast, we were talking about how much it impacts you when you go in person to see, our work being done rather than just doing it behind the scenes as we do as admins over here.
Yeah.
So it leaves such a big impact, and it leaves us more grateful to be in the position we are here, you know? So I think for everyone in general, you don't have to just work in a charity organization. You should just go visit on your own to see how much it could benefit your future as well.
True. And you go there sometimes thinking that, I'm making an impact. I'm helping these people overseas. But really, at the end of the day, the work that we do, I can attest to this. It benefits my life firsthand.
Right.
And so when I get to go overseas, I'm actually benefiting from that more than they are. I feel like, I go there thinking, okay, I'm helping these other people, but really I'm helping myself.
Right.
So
it's some type of quote, like, we need them more than they need us.
Exactly.
Right? Because we go there thinking, okay, this donation is just going to do a small thing, versus them. They want to see people come over and help them. And, the money goes a long way. Also, like I said, it reminds us to be more grateful. So can we talk about more of HHRD's standing and credibility right now?
Yeah. Helping Hand, we've been on Charity Navigator. We've actually been one of the top highly rated nonprofits, alhamdulillah, for over 10 years now on Charity Navigator's website. It's an extensive process, and every year Charity Navigator kind of gets better and better, and they're improving on their process, which helps us, I should say, improve in our own financial practices. And what they're really looking at is they're trying to see, our financial score, our transparency, how we govern, how our board is involved, things like that. So we've been improving, meeting those standards every year.
Right.
Another one is BBB. They're charity. I forgot the name of the full program, but they have a specific program for charities where they rate us every 2 years. And there's 20 standards that we have to meet. And it's a very exhaustive list. I mean, we have, there's a lot of requirements that need to be met. And so that keeps us on our toes. Like that really helps us improve, it's small things, but they go a long way.
I think transparency is a big thing with us, you know? So what are some difficult decisions?
Well, and the trust, I think also it's, we have over 100 employees here in USA.
Okay.
And the approach that we have with our donors, I think that helps enable that trust. Like if a donor calls our main office here in Michigan, they're speaking with a live person, and we're able to connect with them. And we know a lot of them on a first name basis.
Right.
Our stock donors, they know us very well. They're able to donate stocks on our website. A process that we recently improved on. Crypto donations.
That's a new one.
We reach out to them. They talk to us. We know them on a first name basis. So I think just having our team involved and building and being involved in the community the way we are, that helps the donor trust us.
Okay. It's good to know. So what are some difficult decisions you had to make as a CFO?
Oh,
it's a lot of responsibility, decisions. I know. So
yeah, you already know. You see the work that we do.
Yes, the meetings and everything.
I think one of the biggest decision-making processes that, and it takes about 4 or 5 months to get through, is our budget process. Every year we are increasing on our budget. We're on almost a $50 million budget for 2022. Right. Alhamdulillah. And there's a lot to it. We have to be involved. And every program, we try to take 2 different approaches. Number one, we have to see how much we've raised and what our donors are interested in.
Okay.
And then at the same time, we take data from our teams overseas to see what are the actual needs of the country. So what is it that we need to complete, what new projects are our teams involved in, or what do they want to get involved in, I should say. And we kind of have to put that all together and kind of mend it. So we have a lot of donor restricted funding, so we have to be careful on how we distribute that overseas. But at the same time, we need to look at the plan overseas and see what they want to do. So what ends up happening is the requests, there's so much need overseas, and we only have, we have a very finite budget. So there's a lot of no's in that process, and we have to kind of cut things out and promise, maybe next year. Right. So it's difficult.
Another thing I'd like to mention, I guess, it's time sensitive, right? You're dealing with big amounts of money.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to make these tough decisions on where exactly that big chunk of money is going to go and when, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big decision on you as CFO, trying to decide. It's hard because obviously as an organization, you want to help, any and everyone as much as you can.
Yeah.
But deciding where it goes just directly at, the time frame and everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard decisions, but
for sure. And the time restriction, that's a very valid point. Like our zakat funding, it's scary, honestly, to be in this position and to be held accountable, on the day of judgment.
That's
I can be questioned for all of this work.
Right.
And it's scary. It can be very overwhelming at times.
Each dollar counts. So it's on your hand basically to, as like a doctor, right? Someone's lives are in your hands. So technically for us, people's lives are, in a way in our hands as well to make sure they're getting the full benefit of the money they trust. And donors trust us to, get that money to them, even if we have restrictions. Sometimes there's problem with the bank or something, right? We have to make sure that we follow up with all these issues. And I've seen you do it, mashallah, is, call the banks, make sure the money gets there directly, or make sure the money is allocated to each program evenly, So there's many things behind the scenes that I think our audience and everyone needs to know how we handle all this admin work. It's not just sitting, typing on the computer, Excel, general stuff. It's actually a lot of work, meetings, making sure each dollar gets to that person. Of course, the admin fee, but like I said, majority is the work we do is to benefit the beneficiaries.
I think you're ready for my job. That was good. That was a good answer.
So going off of that, I'd say, can you explain a bit more about your specific department, maybe, the people you have and I guess which roles they take on?
Oh, the people that I have, huh? Pat on the back, maybe? No? No, I have a great team. Alhamdulillah, blessed. Shabnam obviously is on my team. Manan Hussein. Jakir al-Islam, he's joining us, coming back to us, I should say. But yeah, that's for our USA operations. And then overseas, I work very closely with our accountants. We have over 10 accountants, international.
And you have to manage all of them.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. They're kind of running on their own, but yeah, there's a lot of team collaboration.
Right, make sure coordination's good. Yeah. So last but not least, I would say, what is your message to the donors?
Really I want to thank our donors from the bottom of my heart, really. It's an opportunity for us to be able to do this job. And without donors like yourselves who support us, we wouldn't be able to do that. Personally, I'm saying for myself, it's an opportunity, it's an honor to do the work that I do. Other than that, and besides that, obviously there's the impact that donors make, right? They're reaching out to beneficiaries. We're changing the world day by day, small impacts here and there, but they add up. Yeah. So really it's jazakallah khair to our donors, and, please continue to support us.
Definitely.
And if there's any ideas, any ways that you think we can improve, we would love to hear them.
Well, thank you for watching and listening to our podcast, Giving is Living. We hope to see you guys again on our next episode.